Okay, so I'm moving on to the Contemptor Dreadnought now from Age of Darkness. Now, I absolutely love the Contemptor Dreadnought, and I'm going to start off by just doing its legs. So I've mapped it out. Purple is going to be the right leg, blue is going to be the left leg, and yellow is going to be the crotch, basically, that holds the legs together. And I'm going to just get going. So first things first is building the foot. So you've got a couple of options, by the way, on the actual toe cap. So you've got 11 and 22 over here, and 10 and 21. So they're kind of matching pairs. So I've decided to use this over here. And I'm just going to cut out. So we need 18, 19, 20 and 21 for this. So this one over here, this toe cap's 22. Ooh, what an odd position to cut into, that one. And then I think it's a very densely packed sprue. This is 20 over here. This is the bottom of the foot. Then I need 18 and 19. So it's densely packed, and this is one of those where you're shooting all over the thing just to find the different components. Even with me mapping things out, it's not easy actually to immediately see where I'm going. Okay, I think just 19 now, which is, oh no, sorry, that was 19, 18 over here. So I'm going to start off by cleaning up 18 and 19 and getting them glued together. Now, I absolutely love the Contemptor Dreadnought, and I'm probably going to say that a hell of a lot of times while I'm doing this. I love the way it's kind of very closely resembling the Cataphractii Terminators, but it also kind of also has elements of other marks. And on top of that, I think it really does match the Mark III armour as well. So I think it's got a good kind of combo. I believe there's there's kind of geared up version for sieges. What's that called? Is it the Leviathan class dreadnought? So that's Space Marine was probably very big on heavy support. Popped into a frame. Oh, just the way that the mold look, you know, the injection point's gone in on this one. It's caused it to be needing a bit of extra cleaning up on the join. Make sure you clean up that join, otherwise it's going to be split open. Okay, so what we got there is got the back of it. Now, next thing I want to pop on here is probably the toe cap. Now I'm guessing this would be the next logical thing to put on. And if you're ever sort of worried about what order you're putting these on, just make sure you've got them both prepared and cleaned up straight away. And then if it turns out you have to do it the other way around, you can just very quickly fix it. So if I check the toe cap, I mean, there's, yeah. So if I check how the toe cap goes on, yeah, it looks like then the foot plate will just slide in with it. So I feel confident now just to kind of put glue on the whole thing. Ready? Oh, that's what I don't like. I know this bit won't be seen, but I'm still worried about mold lines because there's a good chance that I'm going to position the legs moving if I really want to. It does look like you've got a bit of freedom with the leg positions on this. I think the other version that came in the previous Horus Heresy starter set didn't have that much freedom actually. The legs were very statically positioned, and if you wanted a more dynamic position you would basically have to go cutting it up. Okay, so that's to the side now. Now I'm going to kind of do the lower part of the leg, which we need 15, 16 and 17 for this part. So 15, this kind of is the main support section for this leg, and then the other two parts are the armoured plating. And then, yeah, 16 and 17, which are down here. So the nice big hefty plates of armour, here's number 17. Okay, it's a good idea at this point, particularly if you're going to cut them all out at once, just to kind of find your positionings. So if I were to look at the map, I think it's kind of that way around. I have to admit, it doesn't look that clear on the diagram there. I'm going to admit that right now, it's very unclear, but I think it's like that. And then we get 16. Let's have a look. I've got 17 out, yeah, 16 over here, the other plate side. And then this other side, and it seems, looking at the way that it goes together, it's going to be best to have this kind of all pop on at once. So just get all the glue ready on both sides. Just try and squeeze them together. I think it's also a good idea to pay careful attention as well on any of the diagrams, because sometimes it can be a bit deceptive. You might think that you need to glue them, and there's rare occasions that actually you'll just clip on. This does look like a full glued one. So I'm gonna put my glue where there's obvious signs of attachment. Now, this is where I really hate putting these things on, because you think you know how they go, and then when you have a look at them and you're like, actually that doesn't feel right. Now to me it feels like it goes up about here. This is where it feels like it naturally sets. Should have tried that before. I should have tried to feel it before I put the glue on. I was rushing and I shouldn't have been. And then the other one, make sure it's the right way up with the curve upwards. Yeah, there we go. I'll just put a tiny bit of glue on this joint here. I don't want to put too much because that's going to be visible. Okay, and then just like that, yeah. Make sure that that's nice and tight, that there's no obvious seam visibility. Okay, there we go. There's our next little bit. You'll probably find at this point that you can start to see how they'll fit together. Again, I think that's where really considering position comes into play. Now, the kind of what would we call it? Yeah, the thigh area. So that's 12 and 13, and they are, let's have a look, over here. And then these two should go together quite nicely, just dead simple. Okay, so obviously the one small, one large, so it's pretty obvious how they go together. And then we need the number 14 that kind of hangs over the top. I want to get my hand on one of those new Rogel Dawn tanks, but I don't have a 3D printer to do that thing that everyone's saying, give it a bottom. You have no idea how tempted I am to get on Photoshop with the actual Rogel Dawn from Forge World and just expand its ass and then say I've solved the problem. It's sad that I laugh at my own jokes. Okay, so bit glue on this underside here, and then kind of sits in there. Oh, need a bit of glue this side as well. Kind of goes like that, yeah. Okay, and that's how simple it is to actually build one of the legs, and I'm just going to go on to the other leg now. Again, they go together in exactly the same way, so once you get used to doing one, you can do the other one very, 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 very quickly. And pending a decision for me to waffle on about something else, I will get this one nice and done quick. So I'm getting out 11, 8, 7, 9, 11. So make sure you don't get the mismatching toe caps on this one. There's my number 7. And last bit, where is it now? number 8. Now just watch out here, because I can see again the mode line slightly folds over there, so you've got to make sure you get that cleaned up, otherwise they will not fit together properly. Now, because I've already got a Contemptor Dreadnought from the old kit, admittedly it's painted up as Night Lords, but it's not one of my best attempts. It was when I was really just getting back into the hobby that I painted it up. So it's very flat and monotoned in colour. So I definitely need to repaint that. And the problem is, I've not done anything to it. I've not converted it in any way. So I think that one may become my Imperial Fist one. And this one with a bit more flexibility might become my Night Lord one. But I'm definitely going to have to convert it up a bit. And I'm just getting back into doing my green stuff now. I haven't really touched sculpting in a very long time. And even then I was kind of self-taught. YouTube wasn't quite full of channels back then that taught you how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really get my skills up. I've already done one little video with how I did a Night Lord conversion, a despoiler conversion. I think I accidentally call it a desolator. So I'm definitely gonna, come on, I'm definitely going to practice my conversions. I really want to get this perfect when I do it, because I've seen some freaking amazing Night Lord stuff. Absolutely amazing. I get my toe cap on. Then get the foot plate on. Do it on this side, it's easier. Well, you'll see what I'll do here is I'm making sure that I put them on the correct side, because it'll be so easy to get these two messed up. What are we up to? Now we need 4, 5, 6, so that's the same as before. It's this here. This is the support for the lower leg. And then the two, there we go, the two drop down plates, 5 and 6, so this one's number 6. Again, I'm just going to try and make sure that I put things the right way around to begin with, otherwise it's going to make it significantly harder later on when I work out which way around they go. Okay, get this all nicely prepared now. Oh, I can't wait to do the Land Raider, but I'm really concerned that it's going to be an absolute pain and a half to do. I've just got this vision in my head of very flat joints. And I'm going to have to find myself some very strong rubber bands, because whenever I'm doing a tank, I found that if I don't use rubber bands to force the hull to hold together, it ends up pulling apart, and I really hate that. Okay, so same again with this one. It feels like it will naturally sit in this curve here when it's done. Here when my glue does this, because after I pierce this is why I always keep this tissue nearby. Oh, there's nothing worse than when it dries up partway. Right, try that again. Okay, and then this should, again, sit quite comfortably. Yep, and then obviously glue up on the other side too. This other plate should just nicely sit together. There we go. I think a little bit of glue here to hold it in place is probably a good idea. And again, because it's quite a covered up area, you really want to let that breathe a bit before you stick it together permanently. Okay. I think natural position of those is like that, but I'll double check later on. Okay, and finally the 5 parts, so that's nice and simple. This, it's just getting this 1, 2 here. Then nice and easy to put together that one, because they're too big and small cogs. And then the last thing I need to find is the number 3 that just kind of arcs over the top of it. There we go. Just double check where the best join point is. Just sometimes it's a good idea to just slide it in and find out where you want your glue to go, because as you've seen before, I was rushing and I ended up putting it in a place where it just didn't really work. Again, just making sure I let the glue breathe, particularly on a joint that's going to be hidden. Okay, and we're getting there now. We can see that the legs are nicely coming together. Okay, so now we're heading on to the yellow part of my sprue here. And this is as I said, I can't really think of the hips, the crotch, whatever you want to call it. It's really more and we're going to start off with 23 and 24, which is now, I was having a look at this before, just to make you aware, there's actually a 23-24 here and a 23-24 over this side. They're identical, so it doesn't really actually matter that much which one you use. I'm going to get them nice and tidied up here. I'm already reaching the half-hour point on this video. I know I could probably do it a lot quicker, but I'm also kind of conscious that there's nothing more annoying when you're trying to kind of maybe see this on your phone and you miss a stage and you're trying to kind of rewind it. So if I go a bit slower, makes the video longer, but it at least shows you where it is. Okay, so the positioning of this thing, you can see how there's a kind of dimple and nipple. Just kind of see how they slot together. Again, let that glue breathe. You can see when it starts doing that tackiness, that's when you know you got it right. Okay, then 25 and 26, which form the center. I know so many people absolutely hate this part of making models, you know, like doing the Games Workshop stuff or whatever, you know, people enjoy doing model making. Some people absolutely despise the part with the build stuff. Doesn't bother me. I find it quite therapeutic. In fact, if someone wanted to pay me 20 quid an hour just for putting the miniatures together, I'll quite happily accept that. I can't imagine I'm going to get paid that much to put miniatures together, but never mind. Be nice. And then we need a 27 just to cover the front of that. There it is. Okay, so it looks like that there is the main stick point. And then this goes, so let me just get this right here. Kind of goes that way around it. So down, and then you can see the back of it there. Right then. Okay, and then from there I need to process this 28, 29 and 30. So 28 here. Over here. I'm gonna have to clip at them from this direction by the look of it. Can't get them from underneath. And then 30, 30, 30. There we go. Get these all tidied up now quickly. Get these slotted together. So those two slot together in that direction. Yep. So if you get that and that, fold them over. Should fit quite well. And then this is the plate on this side, I think. Oh, double check that. No, it's not. It goes on this side. So you got the grill on the back. And it goes downwards, so those two slots there. Two little vents go at the bottom. Right. Whew. So what we've got there, we've got our key part of the Dreadnought's legs put together. Now what we need to do is we need to kind of start putting these how we want them. Now I'm going to assume, as I said, from what I can see, you do have a bit of freedom about how you position these. One thing that I do worry about though when I'm doing this is you might start to find that you'll position it and then you think you've put the legs nice and dynamic. Ooh, I'm going to need a bit more glue on that. And then when you actually set it down and settle it, you'll kind of look at it and go, my goodness, that doesn't look dynamic. That looks like he's doing a silly walk. So it's a bit of a, you know, it's a bit of a long process deciding how you're going to fit these together, and probably not something I would normally want to do on a video directly, but I'm going to have to, which worries me because once I've actually decided on a position, I'm going to have to kind of live with it no matter what. Oh, I've knocked all my bits everywhere. So what I'm going to do is, in order to help with stability and positioning, I'm going to think how I can have these slot together as I go. So if I did want to create the feeling that he's stepping, maybe forward. I've got to think about my leg positioning. I kind of feel I would want that foot there slightly at an angle. So I'm going to see how this works as I go. I'm going to see if I can kind of get a stepping effect on this guy. See how that works out. It would be very interesting to see if it works properly the way I want it to. Now, just give me a second. Right, now, so this is where I'm trying to be very slow and steady on this front. Don't want to rush it and end up with something being in a weird position when it finally dries. See, I'm trying to work out the positioning of this, and it does feel like it wants to settle in a particular point, which is slightly backwards. So that seems to be where it wants to settle. Do this the part. I mean, I remember how much of a pain this was with the other Contemptor that I put together. And next leg, I'm going to build up again. Let it breathe for a second. And it does seem to settle in a particular point. I'm going to assume, as much as I would like that this guy's stepping, I'm starting to feel that it's going to lock itself up into a very specific position, which is fine. It's going to make my life a lot easier, but it's not quite how I wanted to do this. I wanted to give him a more of a dynamic pose. I'm sure I could do if I made the effort. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this part in. Twist it slightly. I'm trying to get the positioning correct as well, because if you put it in a very weird position, he's gonna look like he's stooping or anything else you can imagine, really. There we go. He's actually, if I put him in that position, he's actually standing quite upright, but his midpoint just seems to feel very strange to me. It's just a matter of kind of very gently playing around with positioning until he... This is the part I hate so much. It's this that starts to drive me crazy. It's... You think you've glued in the right place and then you find out it's not quite where it should be. Go in, do as you're told. I hate this part. Right, I'll try that again. I'm not going to cut the video. I mean, it would be so easy for me to just kind of cut the video now and pretend that didn't happen, but I'm not going to do that because we all mess up and we all make mistakes. I want you to see how easy it is for someone to cock up. There we go. Great. standing where I want him to now. See? Now, what I need to do next is I need to take one of these. So you saw me build one before, and there's a second one actually on the sprue. And what they do is these cover this area here on the upper thigh. So they basically act as an armour plate. So this thing needs a bit more time to dry. So I'm going to get my other 23 and 24 and I'm just going to let it start to dry. That way I've slowed myself down a tiny bit. Then I'm not rushing about gluing this next part on. It's just giving that main structure a bit of a chance to settle. And if you're wondering what this part is for, it's actually for the top. So it's kind of the link between the torso and the legs, and that's the last part I'll be putting on. Right, now I've got to try and very carefully put these on here without the thing falling apart. So wish me luck now. It's just trying to sort of feel it gently really and make sure that it's going exactly where it should do. Which is about there. Then make sure that you put one finger on the back of the model while you're doing this part, just to try and help it settle a bit. Oh, doesn't want to get on this without. Come on, go in. Please go on. Try that again. What I need to do is I need to kind of slide that under there gently and then pop this on and over. Come on, go in. Go on, glue where you're supposed to go in. See, that little part there is not sliding under like it should do. That little, see that little notch there, it should kind of sit underneath that other one. It just doesn't seem to want to. Let me check I've put that on the right way around, because that's where we start getting our little cock-ups when we put things back to front. Let me just double check that, because it feels like I've put it on right, but when I try and slide this under, it just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I'm getting 100% convinced that I've put, oh, but I have done, haven't I? See, I'm getting convinced that I've put that part in back to front now. No, the only way to find out if that I have done is unfortunately take it apart, but I don't know, it didn't feel like I'd done it back to front. No, I've not done. So that's very, very strange, that the way that it's just not sitting how it should do. Now, maybe the problem isn't that. Maybe I'll put the foot on back to front. Let's try that, yeah? See, never worry, we all make mistakes. I thought I'd planned this out perfectly, but I'd obviously not done. There we go. I've been a dumb so-and-so and accidentally put that part on back to front. I didn't put the joint in there back to front, I put the leg back to front when I turned it around. That caused that little problem. There we go. So don't make that mistake. Don't accidentally put them back to front, because you'll end up with that issue. You know, sometimes it's just better to admit you made mistakes and carry on, isn't it? And basically, the last thing to do, now you can wait until you built the torso to do this, and sometimes that is a useful decision so that you can decide a bit better on how you want it positioning. But I'm going to put it on now, just so that I've completed this little video. Okay, there we go. That's the legs nice and complete.